إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين الذي يملأ الأرض قسطا وعدلا كما ملأت ظلما وجورا ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. For the health and your appearance of Imam Mahdi, please loud salawat. In these nights that we talk about the concept of taslim and submission to Allah and Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, last night we focused on being submitted to the Imam of our time. We say that what qualifies him to be at this position is his knowledge, the knowledge that Allah Ta'ala has granted him. In fact, the reason why we're focusing on this matter is because the more the occultation of Imam Mahdi Ajjala Fajr Sharif is prolonged, the more submission is needed. And the more people will leave the religion. In Dua Asr al-Ghaiba, there is a dua in Mafatih al-Janan which is highly recommended to be recited every Friday afternoon. To the extent that Sayyid Ibn Tawus says that if you cannot perform any supplication on Friday afternoon, make sure you don't miss this dua. It's a very beautiful dua. It's the one that starts with Allahumma arifni nafsak fa innaka illam tu'arrifni nafsak lam a'rif rasulak. It comes down to this part where we say Allahumma fathabbitni ala dinik. Ya Allah, help me steadfast and be strong in your religion. It is not easy to stay strong at the time of occultation. I mean, it's not easy at any time. At the time of Holy Prophet, when the ayah was revealed, فَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, Allah told Prophet that stay strong and steadfast in the path of Allah Ta'ala as you are recommended. Prophet says, شَيَّبَتْنِي Surah Ayatul Hud. This ayah broke my back, in other words. It was so tough and severe for me to follow. It's easy to become Muslim. It's just shahadatain, kalama, right? Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. But to stay faithful and strong in your faith is not easy. That's why we're asking Allah. It's so hard. And listen to these narrations that I'm mentioning tonight. These narrations are warnings for us. Abdullah ibn Sinan says that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam told me that there will be shubahat, there will be time of shubha, misunderstanding and confusion in religion, to the extent that فَلَا فَتَبْقُونَ بِلَا عَلَمٍ يَرَى وَلَا إِمَامٍ هُدَى, without any guidance, without any leader who can guide you and save you. And the only thing that can save you is dua al-ghariq. Dua al-ghariq. What does ghariq mean? Ghariq means someone who is drowning, who's losing his life. What is Imam trying to tell us? That the time of occultation, keeping your faith is so hard, it is as if you're losing it. Like someone who's drowning. You're trying to stay alive. But there are so many shubahat that pulls you down in the water and trying to drown you. What is dua al-ghariq? Imam said, Ya Allahu, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya مقلب القلوب ثبت قلبي على دينك. There are just maybe 10 words in this short dua. But make sure you memorize it and teach it to your kids. And let's practice that tonight. And repeat it after me so we can memorize it and say it every day, inshallah. Ya Allahu, Ya Rahmanu, Ya Rahim, Ya Muqallib al-Qulub, Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Oh God, oh the most merciful, compassionate, Ya Allah, You are Muqallib al-Qulub. You're the one who overturns the hearts. Thabbit qalbi ala dini. Help me to stay strong in my religion. Beg Allah in these nights. How many people do we know who were religious when they entered this country, and now we cannot even find them anywhere near masjids and Islamic centers? Don't be proud of yourself. I mean, we must be proud of being faithful by the help of Imam Mahdi, but God knows how long this faith will stay in your hearts. Allahumma fathabbitni ala dinik. أمير المؤمنين سيد للقائم منا غيبة عمدها طويل. There will be an occultation for the 12th one that will be prolonged. يجولون كأني بالشيعة يجولون جولان النعم في غيبته. I can see that the Shias are roaming around during his absence, seeking pasture, but cannot find it. You know, like a bunch of sheep that are trying to find their way back, but they are lost. They've lost their shepherd. There's no one to guide them. Imam says that this will be your situation at the time of occultation. It is so hard to stay strong. Allah, فَمَنْ ثَبِتَ مِنْهُمْ عَلَى دِينِهِ. Those who stay strong. وَلَمْ يَقْصَقْ. Those whose hearts are not hardened, they will be مَعِي فِي دَرَجَةِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. This trial of Allah is so severe that if you pass this test, you will be sitting next to Amirul Mu'mineen on the Day of Judgment. So take it seriously. As Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam said, طُوبَى لِشِيعَتُنَا الْمُتَمَسِّكِينَ بِحَبْلِنَا. Good fortune is for our Shias who stay strong and hold on to our habl, meaning the rope. Ahlul Bayt are hablullah, meaning the rope between us and Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. Those Shias who hold on to that rope of Allah, strong and firm, those will be saved at the time of occultation. Those who stay thabit and strong in believing in us and having animosity against our enemies. Fatuba, Imam repeatedly say, Tuba lahum, Tuba lahum, Tuba lahum. So the dua says that Allahumma fathabbitni ala dinik wasta'milni bita'atik. It continues in this dua of Asr al-Ghayba. We say that, Ya Allah, sta'milni bita'atik. Utilize me in obedience to you. I want my body, my soul, my wealth, my family, everything that I own and belongs to me to be utilized in your path, Ya Allah. I don't want to be wasted, basically. A lot of people waste their time, their body, their brain, their belongings for things that are not for Allah Ta'ala. Anything that you do for other than Allah has gone to waste. Has gone to waste. One day, Holy Prophet was passing out sadaqat, and it was a sheep that was killed, a lamb. And everything was gone, was given to the poor people, except a small amount of meat from that lamb. Aisha came and said that, Prophet, only a small amount is left. Prophet said, no, it's the other way around. All those that we gave, those remained, and this is left. And all those are remained for Allah. مَا كَانَ لِلَّهِ يَبْقَى. Those are the ones that will remain for us. وَلَيَّنْ قَلْبِي لِوَلِيِّ أَمْرِكَ. Ya Allah, make my heart soften for my Imam. Month of Ramadan is the best time to make our hearts soft. By committing sins and disobedience of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, our hearts are hardened. Meaning that they are not acceptive, they are not ready to accept the word of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala. As Quran says, لَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بَهَا لَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بَهَا وَلَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بَهَا. A lot of people, they have ears, they have eyes, they have hearts, but they cannot use them because they have become deaf. Their hearts have become hardened and they cannot accept the haqq anymore. وَلَيًّا قَلْبِي لَوَلِيَّ أَمْرِكَ. Ya Allah, make my heart soft and for the Imam of my time, so that anything he tells me, commands me, I take it and accept it. وَعَافِنِي مِمَّا امْتَحَنْتَ بِهِ خَلْقَكَ. And protect me in these trials and tests that you put us through. وَثَبِّتْنِي عَلَى طَاعَةِ وَلِيِّ أَمْرِكَ. It goes to this part where we say, وَفَسَبِّرْنِي يَا اللَّهِ عَلَى ذَلِكَ حَتَّى لَا أُحِبَّ تَعْجِيلَ مَا أَخَّرْتَ وَلَا تَأْخِيرَ مَا عَجَّلْتَ. What was our discussion about? We're discussing about the concept, the relation that exists between the concept of taslim and submission and intidhar. Taslim and intidhar. In this part we say, Ya Allah, grant me patience to the level that I do not want something that you've delayed to be hastened, and something that you have hastened to be delayed. Meaning that I want to be fully submitted to you. I don't want to argue with you. ولا أكشف عما سترته ولا أبحث عما كتمته ولا أنازعك في تدبيرك. Unfortunately, this is what most of us do. We argue with the tadbir of Allah, with the management of Allah Ta'ala in this world. Ya Allah, don't you see what's happening in Gaza and Yemen and Afghanistan? How many people are being killed and starving and this and oppression here and there? Where are you? Where don't you send your wali? Why don't you send your imam? وَلَا أُنَازِعَكَ فِي تَدْبِيرِكَ. Ya Allah, give me such level of submission that I say, Ya Allah, whatever you decide in His regard, I accept it. Even if you want to, God forbid, inshallah this doesn't happen. Even if you want your imam to be in a quotation for another 1,000 years, we are submitted to you. ولا أنازعك في تدبيرك ولا أقول لما وكيف وما بال ولي الأمر لا يظهر وقد امتلأت الأرض من الجور So that I do not argue with you and say why, how is it that he's not coming? The world is filled with oppression, aggression, and the Imam hasn't come back. What is this? A lot of people, unfortunately, I see this a lot, that people say, if there was an Imam who would have come, how much more oppression is he waiting for? Astaghfirullah. How many times have I heard this? God knows recently. And these are the warnings that Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam have given us. That لَتُغَرْبَلُنَّ غَرْبَلَةً. Gharbal is a trommel, the machine that's used to separate the solid waste, for example. The ones that are bigger size and smaller size are separated. Imam says that there will be gharbal at the time of occultation. And a lot of people will fall off from that machine and will leave the religion, will be separated from the right path. لَتُغَرْبَلُنَّ حَتَّى Imam Kazim alayhi salam says حَتَّى يَرْجِعَ مِنْ هَذَا الْأَمْرِ أَنْ هَذَا الْأَمْرِ أَكْثَرُ مَنْ يَقُولُ بِهِ. To the point that most people who were Shia will not be anymore. Why? Because they lose the trial and test of Allah in submission. They are not willing to take it anymore. They see themselves lonely in most cases. A lot of times at the time of quotation, be ready to be the only one praying, to be the only one fasting. It is very shameful that my daughter, who goes to a school in a very religious city, I don't want to name that city, She was the only one praying and fasting. Be ready for that. It's coming and it's happening. Not only here, in religious cities back home. وَلَا تَسْتَوْحِشُوا فِي طَرِيقِ الْهُدَى مِنْ قِلَّةِ أَهْلِهِ. Amir al-Mu'mineen said that do not be afraid. Do not be afraid of the haqq. If you're on the right path, do not be afraid if you see only few people on the right path. Do not. If you have found the haqq, the righteous path of Allah Ta'ala, if you have believed that Mahdi is the successor of Allah, he is Hablullah, he is Wajhullah, he is Aynullah, he is Babullah, he is Baytullah. If you have faith in that, no matter how many people believe in that or not, keep your faith. And we should take Khadija Salamullah alayha as a role model in that regard. Tonight is her demise anniversary. And we must remember her and take her as a role model in that regard. Because she became faithful, a Muslim, a believer, when no one was Muslim. That's why we Shias insist on the fact that she was the first Muslimah, the first lady who became Muslim. What's this importance? One day, the hadith says that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, let's have a loud salawat for his name. Remembered Khadija salamullah alayha, and he started crying for Khadija. Tonight, the Holy Prophet is mourning and crying for Khadija. Fatima al-Zahra salamullah alayha is mourning for Khadija. He started crying for Khadija. Aisha was sitting there, who had a lot of envy for Khadija, and she hated Khadija so much. She started saying that, O Rasulullah, ما يبكيك على عجوز من عجائز بني أسد. What is wrong with you, Prophet, that you cry over an old lady, Ajuza? Allah, the Prophet became so angry at her, and he said, صدقتني إذ كذبتم. When all of you had left me alone, none of you believed in me, she believed in me. She became faithful at that time. وآمنت بي إذ كفرتم. The time that you did not have faith in me, she had faith in me. إذ كفرتم. Why is it important? A lot of people have given, dedicated their wealth and their money to Islam and their time to Islam, but they joined Islam later on when there were some possibilities that Islam will be successful. A lot of them had the aim, had the goal of taking the Prophet's place. And with that bad intention, they entered Islam. But becoming Muslim at the time that no one was Muslim, that was Khadija. She was not afraid of haqq. She's the best example of this ayah. لا تستوحشوا في طريق الهدى من قلة أهله. She was submitted to the haqq even though she was the only one. And Allah rewarded her in abundance. One day, when the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was in Mi'raj, إن جبرائيل قال لي ليلة أسري بي حين رجعت فقلت يا جبرائيل هل لك من حاجة قال حاجتي أن تقرأ على خديجة من الله ومن السلام. When I was coming down from the Mi'raj, I asked Jibreel, do you need anything from me? Jibreel said, yes, please send Allah's salam, not our salam. Allah's salam and my salam to Khadija. Salam of Allah is very different from our salam. Salam of Allah is the eternal peace that has been given to Khadija. Salamullah alayha, because of what she did in Islam. She gave away everything. To the point that when she was about to leave this world, she called Fatima, Ya Fatima, I have given everything. She was a billionaire at her time. But when she was about to leave this world, she called Fatima, Ya Fatima, I don't even have a kafan to wrap around me. Now that I'm living this world, just imagine that. A lady who was so wealthy, now that she's living this world, she has given it all in the path of Allah and the Holy Prophet. This is her level of submission, that she doesn't even have a kafan to wrap around her. And Allah sent through Jibreel kafan from the heavens to be wrapped around Khadija salamullah alayha. When she passed away, Fatima always cried and was in sorrow. And in sadness, Jibreel came to Holy Prophet and said, Ya Rasulallah, tell Fatima that your mother Khadija inna ummiki fi baytin min qasab. She is living in a castle in the heavens. A castle that is made from gold. Its pillars are made from yaqud, ruby. And she's with Asiya and Maryam. Do not worry, her place is great. She's living in a great place. Khadija, salamullah alayha. Let us remember her tonight. But before I read the small poem that is dedicated to Khadija, let us also remember our beloved Hussein. Because Imam Rida said, Ya ibn al-Shabib, in kunta bakiyan li shay'in fabki lil-Husayn. Whenever you want to cry for anything, cry for Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam. You want to say just one word, one sentence. Ya Khadija, salamullahi alayhi. When you were about to leave this world, you did not have a kafan. And Allah sent you a kafan from the heavens. But our master Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, on the day of Ashura, when his body was cut into pieces, there was not even one kafan to be wrapped around his body. Sallallahu alayka. Ya Aba Abdullah, I do yearn to be like you, in words and actions and character too, pure of heart, Ya Khadija. You gave us the perfect start. You gave us the perfect start. Truthful in words, honest in dealings, with piety. You alleviated anxiety, giving peace and solace and tranquility. My mother, Ummul Mu'mineen, Ya Khadija. My mother, you are the perfect role model, a woman of strength, chaste and humble, my support and comfort. Sallallahu alayhi. Ya al-Zahra, Ya Khadija al-Kubra. Let us have a loud salawat for her. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج. واجعلنا من خير أنصاره وأشياعه وأتباعه والمستشهدين بين يديه. Let us face the Qibla for dua iftitah.